Welcome to the Rochester, New Hampshire History Podcast, a monthly show that will shine a light on a piece of history that has been all but forgotten.
For every familiar name, such as Spalding, Hanson, or Maine, there are countless other lesser-known men who contributed to the city of Rochester. One of these unsung heroes is Osman B. Warren. He was born in Rochester on September 15, 1845, to James and Lydia Warren. His father was a Methodist minister who preached in New Hampshire as well as in Maine. Osman attended the local public schools until 1860, when he went to work for the local shoe shops. In August 1862, in the midst of the American Civil War, he enlisted in the 9th New Hampshire Volunteer Infantry as a private. The 9th New Hampshire fought in many of the major battles in the Civil War. In September 1862, Osman Warren took part in the Battle of South Mountain in Maryland. Then a few days later, he fought in the Battle of Antietam. In December 1862, he fought at the Battle of Fredericksburg. Then a few months later, he was in Kentucky, where the New Hampshire Regiment helped drive the Confederate troops out of the state. Osman then went to Vicksburg, Mississippi, where he participated in the siege of the city and witnessed the surrender of the Confederate Army in Vicksburg on July 3, 1863.
By spring of 1864, he was promoted to sergeant, and in May of that year, he fought in the Battle of Wilderness. This was one of the most violent and deadly encounters in the war. Fought in 70 square miles of tangled undergrowth, the Battle of the Wilderness produced over 28,000 casualties, and Osman survived the battle unscathed, as he had all of the previous battles. Osman's good fortune in battle was about to end. On May 12, 1864, at the Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse, Osman charged into the Confederate entrenchments and never returned back to the Union lines. It was reported that Osman Warren was killed, and an elaborate memorial service was held in his honor at the Methodist Church in Rochester. The following appeared in the Rochester Courier on May 20th, 1864.
Among the losses in the 9th New Hampshire Volunteers, we notice the name of First Sergeant Osman B. Warren as killed. The news of young Warren's death will carry sadness to many hearts. He was a young man of worthy attainments, the son of Reverend James Warren. His untimely loss will be regretted by a wide circle of relatives and friends. He was known and beloved as a brave and resolute soldier by all his comrades and will be sadly missed by them. His death is a severe stroke to his parents, who have sent 3 sons into the army and whose hearts are made heavy by this affliction. Fortunately, Osman was not slain upon the battlefield. He was actually captured by Confederate troops and ended up a prisoner in the infamous Andersonville Prison Camp in Georgia. Anderson Prison Camp was a hellhole. Of the 45,000 Union soldiers who were imprisoned at Andersonville, 13,000 of them died. During the worst months, 100 men died each day from malnutrition and disease. Osman survived Andersonville and was transferred to other prison camps throughout the South. In February 1865, he was released from captivity under parole.
By March 1865, with the end of the war in sight, he was sent home to New Hampshire. When he returned home, he was an active member of many veteran groups and was the city's postmaster. It was what he did after the war that he was most remembered for, though. In early 1900s, Rochester rented a small property at 42 South Main Street and used that as their public library. This property was dusty, cramped, lacking enough shelves to hold all the books. It was not a suitable place for a public library. Around 1902, Osman contacted Andrew Carnegie and asked for a library grant for the city of Rochester. On Christmas Day, 1903, it was revealed that Carnegie agreed to supply funds for a new library building totaling $20,000. That may not seem like a lot, but today, that would be an equivalent of over $500,000. The library that Osman helped secure funds for still stands on South Main Street. In 1908, Osman passed away. The soldiers he served with wrote the following in his honor.
Osman B. Warren, who on January 25, 1908, was hastily summoned to appear before the Grand Commander of the Universe. The whole state mourns for the loss of one of nature's noblemen, a sterling patriot and true soldier. Taps never sounded for a truer soldier or better man. Comrade Warren served his country long and faithfully in active service from start to finish. And this ends the show. For any questions or comments, please email bobgriffinpodcast@gmail.com and come back next month for another episode of Rochester, New Hampshire History.